So over the past couple of days, you've probably been seeing a couple stories, or well, actually a lot of stories pop up, at least on Instagram and somewhat on Twitter, because I've been seeing it there too. But pretty much all these posts have said, hey, Instagram, what's going on? You can't use my art. We're moving over to Kara or Kara. I don't know how to properly say it, but you get the point. Anyways, I've been seeing a lot of posts about it, and I've been getting asked about it as well too. So I decided, why not make a video and just, get my own thoughts on it, I guess, publicly, and sort of what I think about this. And to be honest, I think that just the quick answer, if you want to just know my quick thoughts, is just, I don't think that it's really worth it. I don't think that this is going to do much, but let me explain why, and let me actually explain sort of what's going on in case you don't know what I'm talking about. So for those that do not know, there's been pretty much a shitload of people making stories saying shit like this. It says, I own the copyright to all my images and posts submitted to my Instagram profile, and therefore do not consent to Meta or other companies using them to train generative AI platforms. This includes all future and past posts, stories, threads on my profile. Meta, Instagram, get rid of the AI program. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, this ain't gonna do nothing, dog. It really isn't. I feel for all this shit. I agree. This fucking sucks. It blows. It's not good. But the thing is, with these posts, they ultimately don't really mean a fucking thing. You can sit there and say, you can't use it for this. You can't use it for that. But do you remember that this is owned by Mark Zuckerberg, the company that owns Facebook, the company that has sold your data time and time and time again, has got caught with their hands, red-handed hands, and have been fined before in the past for the way they handled your data and sold your data? This is a corporation that can't be trusted to begin with. So even if they were to sit there and say, oh, you know what, artists, you guys are right. We're not going to do that ever again. They are going to do it. They don't give a shit about you. They don't give a fuck. They're not going to stop their AI program. When every tech company has AI shit going on, there's no universe where they're going to be like, fuck, goddamn, the artists don't want us using it, so we're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. And I don't really try to mean that in a way of being like talking shit or trying to be like a fucking asshole in the way I say it, but I'm just trying to be blunt about it. I'm trying to be honest, because I want to make sure that people who come into this and they see all these posts understand really realistically what's going to happen with this. Because on top of that, there have been a lot of artists that have been pushing Kara. And for those that don't know what Kara is, it's pretty much a social network that a lot of artists have been trying to flock to in terms of trying to move from Instagram. But the problem is, Kara is more or less a website that is just for artists. I don't know any other way to say it, but it's really just a platform for artists. This is actually a platform that I joined when I first got into art, because it's like, oh, let me see what websites are out there. People are like, oh, fuck ArtStation, they're not good. Go to Kara, go to this one. They have glaze, they have things so that your AI can't train on your art, and these are all great and blah blah blah, and those are good for that. Here's the thing, going to Kara is good if you know why you're going there and you know what purpose you join for. If you go there just to have a portfolio that people can see, great, you're doing good work, dog. That is not a bad place to be. It's actually a pretty good place to be. But the problem, and the reason why I even want to really make this video, is because I think a lot of artists are misguided in the notion of joining this website. The idea of going from Instagram to Kara is night and day. You can sit there and say that, well, Kara doesn't do AI training and do blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, a lot of people join these social platforms, these social networks, such as Instagram and Twitter and all the other ones, TikTok as well too, because you want to reach a casual audience. More times than not, a majority of artists, not saying all, but a majority of artists would like people to see their art. And the thing is, while artists don't mind looking at other artists' art, they want regular people to see their art. They want to they're trying to get commissions, they're trying to gain a following, they're trying to get fans, whatever the case might be. That is what artists ultimately want, and you are not going to get that on Kara. It's not going to happen, bro. This is a website where you're just going to have artists talking to artists. And again, there's nothing wrong with that if you go into it for that exact purpose. But again, more times than not, most people actually want to have casual people look at their art. That is the reason why no matter how many shit changes that Twitter brings or that Instagram brings, still going to use the website, because guess what? You want those commissions. You want people to see your art. You don't want it to just be seen by yourself and maybe, if you're lucky, a couple other artists that are ultimately, let's be real here, it's not really going to give too much of a shit about it, because again, they're trying to probably get a bunch of casual people to look at their art as well too, non-artists. And that's where Kara fails, and that's the biggest issue that I keep seeing brought up with this whole, oh guys, we need to leave Instagram and we got to go to Kara right now. It's not going to solve anything. It's not going to serve anything. There are plenty of websites that are already like Kara. You can sit there and join as many as you want, but the unfortunate reality is you're going to be sad at the end goal, because you're not going to be reaching casual people. You're not going to be reaching non-artists, and that is really what people want. And sure, you can sit there and say, oh, well, maybe this website is going to gain traction and people are going to use. It's not. It's not, dog. Let's just be real here. It's not going to happen. I would love to be proven wrong, but you already got the big three: TikTok, Instagram, and then Twitter. That is the main places that people go. That is the main shit that people use. Twitter is pretty much like the go-to spot, even though despite all the shadow ban issues and everything else, that is still a pretty good place to get your art seen if you have the right connections or you're at least blessed by the algorithm. Quora, again, dog, this is a platform for artists. You can sit there, you're at the homepage, you can sit there and look, this is my art, this is my For You page, follow more people, cool. But it's just going to be a feed to see literally other artists. And that's cool if I'm looking for other artists, maybe to collaborate with or to talk with. But the other thing you have to add on top of that is, what incentive does a regular user have to come to here? They don't. There's no incentive. There's nothing to see. You can say, oh, well, there's so many artists here, you're going to be able to look at. They don't give a fuck about that. They just want it on their feed. They want to see on their regular social feed and have it pop up. And if it does it, and if it does, cool. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I've also seen the other discussion of, oh, well, you have some big name artists join this website. And so, it's starting to add some credibility and legitimacy to it. Cool. That's nice. But doesn't mean anything if, first of all, regular people don't really know about that person. Second of all, if it's not enough to really get people to come by to use that site, or let alone they join just for that one specific artist and they don't care about seeing nobody else. Then you got to add on to the fact that that is another algorithm. Will your art get pushed to people on this algorithm? Who knows? Couldn't tell you. There's so many factors into it. And the only reason I want to make this video is just so that you have a better educated decision when you jump into platforms like this. Yes, it's free. You don't pay any money, but it's your time being spent setting all this up. Is it worth the time spent? Personally, I don't think so. A majority of people, again, not all, but a majority of people would like their art to be seen by non-artists. And if you go to a website like Quora, you're just going to be with a bunch of other artists. It's a social network for artists, and there's nothing wrong with that if you know what you joined that for. You want to talk to artists? Cool. You want people to see your art that are not artists, and you're hoping that maybe one day they might commission you or anything of that caliber? Quora is not the place for you. And unfortunately, even though the Instagram shit sucks, I can tell you for a fact most people are still going to use it. Most artists are still going to use it. Same thing for Twitter. No matter how much shit might be popping off with AI, no matter how many people are going to make posts and they're saying, I own the copyright, I do this, do that, blah, blah. These tech companies don't give a shit about you, bro. They're going to use it whether you like it or not. And guess what? You know why? Because the unfortunate reality is, there's no real ground where we're going to whip up the coffers and have a bunch of money just ready to go sue a company that has teams and teams upon teams of lawyers that is ready to strike down at any second if they really want to. These discussions are all nice in the spirit, and I support it 100%. And I think that it's good to fight against AI and to hope that that we don't get our art trained on. But the unfortunate reality in dealing with the devil is, if you want people to see your art and deal with that, then either you glaze your shit and hope for the best, or you just post your shit and run with it and just keep on moving. Because the unfortunate reality too is, what if someone just copies your art? They just sit there and save it, and then they repost it online, and then they post it on Instagram. It's still going to be trained regardless. Just because you didn't say it, someone else takes it and re-uploads it, and then they still gets trained regardless. There's so many factors into this. And again, I only make this video not really to try and shit talk people who are doing these things, because I feel for them. I understand it completely, but I just want to give people who don't know any better, or doesn't really understand any of this, just some actual food for thought, and to understand really what you're joining Quora for. Because I think a lot of people are really misguided in the notion of joining it and the thoughts that it's going to become the next Instagram or have the potential to be like Instagram, when in reality it's not. It's just a social network for artists and artists only. And I don't think it's going to escape that bubble anytime soon, at least while Instagram exists. We'll love to be proven wrong, but I don't see it really happening. Also, I just want to be clear that I'm not trying to attack Quora. It's not like I think it's a bad website. It's quite the opposite. I think it's a really great website and it looks great, but I just want to help inform and actually help people out, because I think there's a lot of artists that are misguided, that are moving to this notion thinking that Quora is going to be this Instagram replacer or Instagram killer, when in reality, it's not going to be. Again, it's a great website. I used it for a short amount of time. I thought it was cool, but even I was under the assumption originally thinking, oh, you know what, maybe my art's going to reach some casual people and it's going to be really cool. When in reality, no, it's not. It's just other artists looking at my art potentially, and that's about it. And that's really what this website is going to be. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. If you don't want to use ArtStation because of the AI situation, or DeviantArt because of their situation, then you know what, maybe Quora is great for you. Again, I'm not saying it's bad, just here to inform and give my own take up on this entire situation. Anyways, those are just my thoughts. If you want to join the Discord, link description below. Join the Discord, let me know what you think. or leave it in the comments below. Either one works. That's all I got for you. If you made this far into the video, consider giving a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below what you think. Have a great day. Yeah.